Okay, this is the game against Della. He went for a 4 infantry and 3 artillery buy, so not my choice of opener. But he got an above average result in Ukraine, and with this infantry here in Karelia, he got an above average result here as well. But I think I'm going to be able to stack Karelia regardless, since he doesn't have 2 tanks to help his battle here. And we'll see what kind of opener I go for here. Alright, I went for a 8 infantry, 5 tanks to Karelia with the standard max setup pressure build with the 3 tanks in Baltic states. I went 6 units to Season 7 just to ensure that that didn't fail, and I went for a carrier. Yeah, it's exciting. It's not I don't think it's the best versus the best possible allied play, but given that my opponent bought 4 infantry and 3 artillery this game, I think I might get away with it. And it's very fun when it works, so we'll see what he has in store for me, if he is going to punish me or not. So the best allied response is something like US building up a fleet and then going for US 4 timing on the German fleet here. But I kind of doubt he's going to do that. We'll see what he does though. No! He killed my carrier! What? Oh, that's so sad. Damn it. Really? What did he attack with? What the hell? 2 fighters. Yeah, I had odds to survive that. I can't believe he went for that. What the hell? Huh. Yeah, but it seems I got lucky here. He went for a very greedy opener, only sending the cruiser here, and he got punished for it. Went for Borneo, and even went for the sub, gambling that I didn't have my defensive profile set up correctly. Yeah, this is kind of. I mean, I respect the audacity to go for it. I do, but it's just so unfortunate when you have the odds and they win anyway. Oh well. Okay, so the battles went pretty universally terrible. I think every single battle here I went below average. I lost the fighter here in Shizvan, and I had to sacrifice a fighter to take back Borneo as well. I went for the 2 transport buy to try and get the Japan 3 timing on the India, but we'll see how that goes. Usually when the UK sacrifices its fighters in the early game like this, India is a bit more vulnerable. And it didn't get the tanks with the Russia, so I think it's a good build for this game. Sometimes when UK goes for the cheese like this, it's combined with a kill Japan first, so we'll have to see what US does on their first turn. And we have our first kill Japan first on the board with a battleship round 1 nonetheless. Wow, this is... And the cruiser... No, the cruiser starts in season 19. But a battleship buy. That's very exciting. So this is gonna be... this completely changes the nature of the game. And now I'm going to be pushing with Germany and defending with Japan. I am going to try and secure a solid income base on the continent, but all my plans of taking India and all that stuff is now completely off the table. And but it does make it even more unfortunate that my carrier died round 1, because that would have been a great asset to have right now. But it is not there. Yeah, he landed in France. And he recaptured Ukraine and Belarus. Probably going to be doing some pivoting here. The goal for my Germany player is going to be getting set up in Caucasus as early as possible, and obviously to take Moscow. And I have to do this before the US makes significant gains against Japan on sea. So we'll see how well I'll be able to do that. this is the board after Germany 2. I captured Egypt, set up a mini stack here in France, and I failed to capture Ukraine, which is a bottom 10% result. I sent 3 infantry, 1 tank, and 1 fighter versus the 3 ground units he had there, and I lost everything, and he still has an artillery left. It was pretty demoralizing watching my fighter and tank just hit and miss everything 3 rounds in a row. But that's life. Sometimes you don't get lucky. I'm gonna. Yeah, he has some pretty spooky strafing opportunities here in Karelia, so we'll see if he goes for that. It's a pretty ballsy play if he does. Yeah, he will then hit. He would then hit it first with UK, then with US, and then with Russia. And he actually, I think he has a decent chance to clear it. But if it goes wrong, I mean, he's just lost on the spot, right? And I did get a transfer from Italy to Libya round 1, so in theory this should be safe. But he did hit it with the infantry stationed here in Egypt, so now I might lose that as well. A bit unlucky. But in general, I think as long as my Japan defense is pretty solid, I think even with some delays here in the Europe front, I'll be able to get into a decent end game, I think. Alright, yeah, he's landed in northwestern Europe, but in this game the most important part is the defense here. He's moved his sub over here. What happened to his cruiser? Yeah, what did happen to his cruiser? What the hell? It's not here. Okay, yeah. Anyways, he didn't hit Egypt, which is pretty important. So that's going to be a source of otherwise free income for Germany. And I'm going to be pushing here because these 3 provinces is a lot closer to the Japanese capital than the Russian capital. So these are natural, what I like to call natural Japanese provinces. If any province is closer to an Axis capital than an Allied capital, it's usually natural for the Axis to control it. This, like Poland, is natural for Axis to control, and West Russia is natural for Allies to control. And in this case, these three provinces are natural for the Axis to control. So I'm going to try and secure control of those provinces. And he bought a battleship, and he's going full kill Japan first. So I'm going to buy a lot of submarines probably, and try and set up a big fleet in season 60 and try and dead zone him away, while I at the same time secure a solid income base at the mainland. Alright, so this is the setup I decided with. I'm going to be... I ended up killing the stacks in Buryatia, landing some extra troops in Soviet Far East, and securing China. I'm going to be totally honest, this probably isn't the best setup, but I ended up just buying 4 subs and a destroyer, and I'm kind of testing my opponent here because my current understanding is that kill Japan first doesn't really work if Japan just buys a bunch of submarines. So I'm gonna try and do that in its most basic form and see if he manages to make any progress against Japan here when I'm just buying a bunch of submarines. And maybe I'm totally wrong, but I'm just gonna try that and see if it works in this game. Germany 3, he's landed in France and he captured the Philippines with his only transport, because his other transports are here in Europe. So after I kill this transport, he won't be able to actually capture any territory until he buys a new one, which is going to put him delay the offensive considerably. But I'd messed up and put my my transport in Zone 62 into range of the US air, so I lost 2 transports for free. He also placed his Sudan troops in a dead zone, so I'm going to be able to gain a lot of income from Africa here probably, which is going to be a pretty big long-term boon for me. This is the situation on the board after my turn. I unfortunately tied the battle in Northwestern Europe. I retook France, so he will probably either grab this or grab some income up here with the UK. And I also managed to take over Sudan here, and so I'm ready to grab a lot of income next round. And Japan is also going to be able to gain a lot of income, so hopefully the income situation will look a lot better in a few rounds. The landings here in France and Northwestern Europe meant that I could only send 3 infantry east this turn, so my push against Russia has been weakened further. It's probably this round of units coming here that's going to be the first real big one since the round 1. But maybe I'll be able to use some of the Japanese ground to trade with Russia and provide some help with the trading of Russian units. Seems my recording didn't quite work the first time, so this is the end of Japan 3. I retook the Philippines. He has stacked Burma and traded France on his UK turn. And I also captured these 4 provinces, going up to 41 income for Japan, which in the Kill Japan First game is very good, because I lost these 2 transports there. Transferring ground units to the mainland and to try and contest China and Southeast Asia is going to be a lot more difficult. But things are not all good for him either, because it's going to be pretty hard for him to get naval superiority with the US, with Japan having such a strong income. And he also doesn't have any transports in range to trade any of the islands. So he can build as many boats as he wants, but you need the infantry to actually capture provinces. I'm actually noticing here he's going more of a both oceans approach. So since I got 4 subs and he got 3 destroyers, he's not actually never going to get odds on my fleet here. But on the other hand, there is actually decent amount of pressure being put on Germany from the US side here, so might have to change up my strategy a bit. It looks like he failed the Ukraine trade, which is nice for me, obviously. And now I'm going to be able to grab a lot of juicy income in Africa, which is also going to be very nice. So the map is looking a lot more grey now after I finished my turn. I also collected a really juicy income of 48 IPCs, which is actually starting to get to the point where I'm exceeding my production capacity. So if I can secure the Caucasus soon, that would be very nice. My usual strategy for Kill Japan First is to start my stack in Karelia and then move it down into Ukraine, and force him to either abandon West Russia to stack Caucasus or allow me to trade Caucasus and at some point just go directly there. And now, because of the earlier trades being so much being diverted away from the east the first few rounds, I may be delayed here, but I got a decent 8 units sent eastward this turn, and I'm thinking I'm maybe going to get a similar amount next turn. UK has only 2 infantry to trade with, and but the Americans do have 4 units coming in. This kind of light pressure isn't really going to kill Germany, but it will slow them down. But at the same time, Japan is super safe here. I might even just go up to 3 transports again and start landing some more ground units, trading a bit more aggressively with the Soviets maybe. instead of my usual regime of trying to conserve ground units as much as possible. Japan 4, he captured Thailand and landed in France again. So I think from now on I'm just going to try and match the US in the number of vessels every round, since I'm less worried about the sea attack and more worried about maintaining a strong presence on the continent. Yeah, all the trades went pretty well this turn. I captured Vologda, blitzed through Archangel, and managed to take Sak. I'm transferring over my bomber here, just so that he can't capture Norway or Finland for free with his US boats. And it looks like I'm going to be keeping Africa, so that's going to be a big boost in money for me. He's even moved this dude from Persia back into India, so I'm going to be able to get Transjordan for free as well. He's really handing me a lot of resources here, which I obviously like. And it can be a bit sketchy here if he starts to really push back, but then, especially since my German forces here are quite weak compared to where they should be, so if he plays accurately, he can potentially make some pretty big push, since I'm only producing like 4 to 6 units a turn with Japan currently, and that's gonna take a while to get to the relevant provinces. I only have 5 units in reserve here, and some of them are going to may have to trade Yunnan. I'm conceding control over Thailand and Malaya. I think that's fine to do in the Kill Japan first. It's the least important part, because the UK troops have to go through the bottleneck of Yunnan to threaten the core high value Japanese provinces here on the coast. My opponent has now seen the light of the subs and have started matching me, so that's good for him. And he actually got a transport as well, so now I can start to threaten stuff in 2 turns. And he did land up here in season 3. That's going to limit his options with UK a bit, because my Japanese bomber has range up there. So oh, what am I saying? He has 2 carriers. Okay, yeah, he's probably just gonna be able to cover everything he wants. And he left only an AA gun here. That's kind of curious. So since he doesn't threaten anything here, I'm curious if I can go for a stack of West Russia here or not. Yeah, I no longer have the production slots to sustain my income. So if I'm able to stack Caucasus next turn, that will be absolutely wonderful, and gain these extra 4 production slots. I decided to just get some extra tanks in Italy, and as these will be able to reach Caucasus in 2 turns, so it's like decently effective to logistically to produce tanks in Italy. And I was able to send a full round of infantry east this turn because of its relatively light pressure. Now he has 6 ground units here, so he's gonna continue to be super annoying here. I'm also expecting the US to take over Karelia, so it's gonna be my attacking force is gonna be drained away both on the east and the north. But as compensation for that, he still isn't really producing enough here to actually threaten Japan. So time is not an issue, and if I'm right, yeah, his income is starting to be a bit reduced. I think, yeah, this seems to be about equal in income, which when I'm making progress here, and he's not making progress in the Pacific, is favorable. Yeah, he did indeed just land across the western part here, so now I'm gonna have to devote at least 6 troops away from the east push to retake these provinces, so it's getting drained away pretty quickly. and he also pushed out here and took Yunnan and Malaya. I think I'm gonna try and retake Yunnan and set up a good reinforcement path into Russia this turn, and then next round I might try and see if I can recapture Thailand long term. Yeah, so some of the trades went pretty horribly. I sent one infantry and one artillery and 2 battleship bombards on Yunnan, and everything missed for me 2 rounds, and he hit once twice. But on the other hand, I sent 2 infantry, 2 ground units into Kazakh and managed to kill 3 of his here. And he didn't hit back in Archangel after my infantry and bomber hit there, so it's a bit of both worlds. I got some more ground, submarine, and some planes here because I'm starting to trade a lot on the ground. So I think an additional set of planes is useful, and hopefully I'll be able to expel them from Yunnan next turn, since I wasn't able to do it this turn. And yeah, the war report is looking like this. Still pretty good income situation and decent attack power situation. Main focus is still on the progress here. Yeah, he retreated to Moscow and took back Karelia, Ukraine, and he also moved his 2 infantry from French West Africa to South Africa. So I'm gonna try and place my guys in Congo and dead zone this to try and contest that income for the next few turns. I also did the math, and this stack in Caucasus will work out, and I'll actually get some pretty decent timing on my pressure here. I think it's Germany 6, so Germany 7. These 8 will arrive together with these 2 tanks from Italy now, and then I'll have 3 more tanks coming up after that. And together with the production in Caucasus, I think we're actually about on schedule for the G8 timing, mostly because he's trading so heavily against Japan here and draining his own stacks. This is the board at the end of the turn. I ended up deploying my tanks in Germany rather than Italy. This is so that on Germany 7, I'm going to move these into Ukraine, and I will try to go for the Germany 8 timing on Moscow. I'm not sure. I'm a bit lazy, so I haven't done the math if it's actually gonna work, but it looks pretty promising with this big stack coming in here, the production and the 5 tanks, and I also may buy a bomber. And so when he wipes this again this turn, I think I'm gonna try and stack it so that I no longer have a constant drain on my infantry stacks. And I collected a super solid 51 income with Germany, so income situation is looking very promising. He did move his transport down here, so now he's actually threatening to capture an island, so I have to start respecting the kill Japan first a bit more. But at the same time, this buy is not very impressive, so to speak, on the attack front. Wow, he's gone for a industrial complex in Thailand. That's pretty surprising. And he didn't get any units in UK this turn. And I also just noticed that he got an industrial complex with US. So things are shaping up to be a bit interesting here. This complex is placed here as the potential to place down a blocker, so I'm gonna have to be a bit more careful about in placing a blocker with US here, UK here, and capturing this island here. And this is at the end of my turn. Unfortunately, my trade in Evenki failed. The 1 fighter, 1 infantry versus the artillery, so that means he's gonna gain some income with Russia here. But my trade in Kazakh went very well, so that's very nice. And it's going to be a bit hard for him to trade too much back because of the big stack in Caucasus now. And this here means that he now has capacity to buy 5 ground units every round, so he's going to be upping the pressure here, I think is the plan. While with US he's going to be upping the pressure in Europe, so that's a very interesting strategy. And I'm half expecting him to just suicide his fleet in here, so that's why I've gotten a lot of some extra subs and some extra planes just to make sure that I have the best odds possible. I think my odds are about like 95%, while with my standard fleet without these 2 planes, for example, or these 2 subs, it would have been barely 60%. This is the big turn. I have to decide whether I'm going to go for Moscow or not next round. I've done the odds and I can get 95% chance to capture it. But if I don't capture it, I'm obviously in a very bad spot because I would have to give up on taking Karelia and stuff like that. But then again, 95 to win is pretty big. The consideration is if I just go for an economic route, if I think I have more, can get higher than 95% odds in one more round, and if so, should I take that instead? Now I'm not sure. It's because I'll get another round of reinforcements, which will strengthen, and he's not making any progress here basically, so it's not that easy to decide actually. I ended up not doing it. Not taking 95% to win is a bit weak, I know, but I think I'll get better odds this way next round. I went for a Karelia stack, and I'm gonna send my Japanese fighter ship. That's 85 to hold. I went for trade of Persia, and I got lucky, so I sent some tanks down, and that's also 85% to hold. And this should also be 85% to hold. I went for the South Africa trade, and I think this is like a 40-60 in my favor. And since it didn't produce any units in UK last round, I think I'm gonna get some value here as well. So this is looking pretty good at the moment. Now all that's left is to clean up the Philippines, and next round I think hopefully I should be able to get over 95% odds on Moscow. If not, this would have been all for nothing. Japan 7, he traded Yunnan, and other than that just got 10 ground units. I'm pretty happy about this. He had to pull a lot of troops back from Burma into India to hold it next turn, even though I'm probably not gonna... I mean, my goal is to take Moscow, not to take India, right? But that meant that he could not stack Yunnan, which really helps Japan here. And now I'm gonna try and put as much pressure on Russia as possible, and I'm gonna start getting ground units, because after this transport is killed, he once again has no threat with this navy. It can just be completely ignored. So unfortunately I lost, he hit 2 out of 2 with his infantry in Manila, so I had to sacrifice a fighter to recapture it. But other than that, the trades went well. His infantry in Xinjiang and his infantry in Yakut did not hit back. And I think a Germany 9 timing for Moscow is pretty likely now with the current map state. Japan is feeling pretty safe, even though I'm only at 36 income per round. As long as because he's gonna have to buy a transport, go down here and go down here to even have a shot. And right now it seems like he's shifting over into a super late start kill Germany first. So even though I didn't get 95% on Moscow with this approach, he is offering me a 65%, which I might take with the backup that even if it goes pretty horribly, I think I can take next turn. But there is of course a risk involved. And also he just put his fleet here outside San Francisco. They're on vacation there. That's totally fine by me. So now we're gonna go. Alright, I ended up choosing to go for it and just risk it. I think maybe he'll concede if I win this. So, but we'll see. Okay, 8 hits for me. And how many hits for him? Oh yeah, 15 hits for him. Yeah, okay, yeah, this is not gonna work out. Yeah, so we're definitely retreating here. And I'll have to see how. Yeah, that did not turn out well at all. Oh boy. Oh, how boned am I now? That's the real question. Oh. Okay. Yeah, here's the aftermath after the carnage in Moscow. I checked the odds afterwards, and the odds of him hitting 15 of my units is 2%. So yeah, that's an interesting twist at the end here. I don't think he'll be able to take Caucasus, unless of course gets another 2% roll. And I managed to stack Karelia and France and Berlin, so I got a kind of Atlantic wall setup here. He didn't go for the, I think this is a 30% on the artillery and the tanks. I don't think he's going to do that this turn either. And if he advances here or here, I'll have odds on him. And I'm still collecting 55 income a turn with Germany here. So, but if there was a way to throw away my attack, this is it. So we'll see if we still have chances of getting Moscow next turn with this with this attack failing. I'll be able to grab these provinces with Japan. So yeah, who knows. Japan 8. It looks like I will get Moscow, even despite that failure, because he's abandoned it with his UK fighters, and he finally took over Africa. This has been available to him from round 2, so he took 6 turns to actually do it. Now he's gonna grab some permanent income here and start to equalize the income. That's kind of scary. He traded Yunnan again, and yeah, he's starting to put up some pressure here in Karelia. So I'm gonna try and be a bit sneaky and place a transport here, and see if he forgets that if I get Moscow and Hawaii while holding on to all of Germany's victory cities, I will win. So I'm gonna try and be sneaky. And here's my little sneaky attack. The reason I didn't go harder on this is because I'm not sure at all if how realistic holding Karelia is next turn. It all depends on how he plays his Russia turn. So in case it's not viable to hold everything here, I haven't lost anything here. And if he forgets, then I just win, which is a pretty big upside. Yeah, I sniped the tank here with my bomber, and my bomber lived. Very nice, and all the trades went well. And this is a bit short on troops here with Russia. I wonder if it's gonna retreat or if it's gonna let me take the, in theory, profitable battle on Moscow. And yeah, I'm curious if it's gonna get another transport here with the US, or if it's just gonna continue the Finland attack here. Alright, so he made the strange decision of pulling out his UK fighters, but then still trying to hold on to Moscow by going for these risky battles and putting the US fighters there. So this turn it was my turn to get lucky. He sent 2 units and a fighter here, and this was for infantry, and set 4 units and a fighter here, and I won both convincingly. So luck goes both ways. This definitely makes it a lot easier for me to take Russia, and I might be able to even hold on to Karelia, but I'll have to do the exact math on that. Yeah, obviously I'm gonna go for it. Okay, we might as well roll a few battles here, of course. Yeah, I think I still go for this. And alright, we hit, and he did not. Alright. Unfortunately, that will probably get killed by his transport over here. And now for the big battle in Russia. See, yeah, that's super good, and that's expected. Just gonna auto-assign hits. And yeah, it did manage to kill a tank, but mostly the fodder died, and that's a beautiful, beautiful victory there. So now we're officially into the Kill Japan First end game. That's after Moscow has fallen, and no progress has been made here. So now I just need to find a way to close this out safely. And this is how I close out the end of my turn, with a super nice 70 IPCs to spend. Yeah, the focus is going to be to secure these provinces first, and then I might try and kill India with Japan for the finish, or I can try and transfer my tanks down and do it that way. That's the two main options here. Yeah, he's landed in northwestern Europe, and the buy was just pure ground once again. He doesn't have enough income to fill all his factories, so it seems like he's prioritizing Asia over the UK. He also started recapturing here, so I'm going to be losing a lot of income there over the next few rounds. I'm going to try and kill that transport and try and make Japan conquer this factory here, and maybe I'll make Germany try and take over India while also holding Karelia. So I think I missed the turn there. I split my J fleet up into 3 parts, and it looks like he hit the bottom part of it, which I think was surprising because I'm pretty sure, yeah, 2 fighters, 1 bomber. I was 1 fighter, 1 aircraft carrier, 1 battleship. That's like 25% odds for him to win that, I think. So that's unfortunate for me. And he also moved his fleet up here. I have it 70% on it, but I'm not sure if it's worth taking it or not, because I feel like I should get better odds than 70% in this game. Yeah, he's increasing the pressure here, and he killed my tank with 3 units. Unfortunate. And the carrier is reborn, finally. Took a while. And now I bought a navy to contest some income in Africa, and I'm setting up a big, I think 3-turn timing. So this guy will go down here and then here together with the tanks and take India in 3 turns is the plan. And then I think I'll just be defensive with Japan and wait for Germany to roll on down and finish off the game. Looks like he swapped over to a full Kill Japan First again with a 4 fighter buy and pivot down to Solomon Islands with him sacrificing another transport to capture the Philippines. So I'm just going to go down here, and I'm guessing he's going to sacrifice another transport to take over Borneo, and I'll take that back, and on the dance goes. Except now he'll have some transport coming from here as well, which is going to be annoying. And now my fleet is going to be safe here in the Black Sea with my destroyer blocking, and I've set up so that I'm going to have a big stack in Persia next turn, which together with the tanks from here and the planes should hopefully be enough to seriously make an attempt at capturing India here. But if he moves the entire stack back, it might be a bit hard still. I'm seeing. Haven't done the odds or anything. Big inf stack up here, and Japan should still be pretty safe. He won't have a significantly more navy attacking this round and last round. As long as I maintain the security there, I won't lose at least. This is after my Japan turn, Looks like my opponent is conceding India by moving his big stack into Thailand instead. So I'm going to try and set up a 2-round victory here. So I'm going to try and win in round 13 by capturing India and holding everything in Europe. While Japan only needs to hold the Philippines, Shanghai, and Japan proper. He also got the South African IC industrial complex, which is interesting. End of Germany 12. I've gotten into Persia and moved my fleet here. And he moved this Pacific fleet back, so I think I'm going to go ahead and try and go for Hawaii as well next round. Japan 12. He's done a bit of a funky move here in Burma, trying to dead zone India, and he's gonna have about 20% to take it back. So I think I'm gonna drop the Pearl Harbor plan and just focus both factions on grabbing India. And this is the end of the turn. Now that I won't lose in Germany is capturing India, this should make holding it much easier, and I think it's pretty likely that the game will end next round. Wait, what am I saying? I have 9 victory cities right now. Yeah, he's gonna have to. Yeah, he messed up. He moved too much away from India. I don't think he has any way of recapturing a VC. Yeah, France isn't really doable. Neither is Karelia. I think he has a 1% here, and maybe 1% there. And that's even better than he got on the Moscow battle. Yeah. So I know it's really slow, but sudden victory, huh? And that does it. He attacked Karelia. Actually managed to thin down the numbers quite a bit, but it was not enough, and I won by victory cities. Now we should be able to see our ranking. Yes, I'm gold. So can I see which rank I am? I cannot, and I don't think I'm in the top 10, so still some games to go.